Things have warmed back up in Wisconsin. I'm out here in the wood yard today to run some maple through the Kindlet 200. This is the maple that I believe it was 2 videos ago that I cut up with the Yappa. And I needed to make, I've had the Kindlet and the tractor running. In fact, let me shut the tractor off, 1 second. All right, so now you might be able to hear me a little bit better. So I've been doing a couple runs here because I wanted to adjust the Kindlet 200 to make a little smaller diameter splits. The last batch that I ran, I was noticing some of the splits were getting a little bit too big. And you might be wondering what is too big for mini firewood. And this right here, this is about the ideal size. So this is my target. That's what I'm going for. But I was getting pieces that were a little bit bigger. So for instance, I was getting some splits that were coming out like this. A little too big. So I've made some adjustments to the Kindlet. I've dialed it in, but I wanted to show you what is involved with adjusting and kind of like what's under the hood of the Kindlet. So there are 2 adjustments that you can make on the Kindlet. There's a bolt over here, a nut and a bolt, and there's a nut right here. This is the nut that determines how much the belt moves on each cycle. And then this one over here, that determines how far out the knife travels. So there's 2 different adjustments you can make. This is the one that I was dialing in just a little bit ago. So I needed to tighten this up a little bit, just enough to, again, get that split size down to just a little bit smaller. So this is about the size that I'm looking for. Otherwise, stuff that gets a little too big, what I'm ending up having to do is I need to do a lot of resplitting. So if we take a look at some of the stuff that was coming off some of the last runs, so like this piece right here, that's a little too big. Even this piece is getting too big. And like some of these splits, these all could probably be a little bit smaller. So that is why I wanted to make a few adjustments. So now that I got things, I think pretty much set. They're looking better anyway. I may have to still make a little adjustment, we'll see. But I've got this whole trailer full of rounds. Some of the rounds were a little bit over 8 inches, so I did knock a end off so they'll fit. But I've got all these rounds. I got all these rounds up here ready. Some of these things, like this right here, I already know that is going to be trouble. Because with maple, and I guess with any wood, you see like this right here, this branch stem buried deep in the wood, that is going to end up being a little bit of a challenge. It's probably going to split it and kick it up and not cut exactly all the way through that against the grain, against that knot. But I've got plenty to split. I'm not trying to get through all this today. I just want to get this thing dialed in so I can make some decent runs here, some nice production runs coming up. Finish up all this maple and then move on to some oak.